Throughout history, claims of divine revelation have shaped civilizations. Today, we compare two such claims, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the foundation of Christianity, and the founding visions of Joseph Smith, which began Mormonism. Our goal is not to judge, but to examine the evidence for each through historical and legal standards, eyewitness testimony, external corroboration, and public impact. By placing these claims side by side, we'll see how their foundations differ and why that matters for understanding truth. The claim of the resurrection of Jesus Christ stands out as a pivotal point in history, particularly for its undeniably public nature. It wasn't a whispered secret or a private revelation. The events surrounding the resurrection were said to have unfolded in plain sight, and we have early Christian sources, such as Paul's letters, penned within mere decades of the event itself, that corroborate this. These aren't just vague recollections. They are direct communications listing hundreds of witnesses who purportedly saw the risen Jesus. These weren't just casual observers, but individuals who claimed to have interacted with the risen Jesus. What's more, women, whose testimony was often considered unreliable and easily dismissed in that era, are named as the first witnesses to the empty tomb, an unlikely detail to include if the story were a fabrication, as any storyteller would have likely chosen more credible witnesses by the standards of the time. Furthermore, the apostles, initially fearful and hiding, underwent a dramatic transformation, becoming bold proclaimers of the resurrection. They willingly faced persecution, imprisonment, and even death for their unwavering testimony. Their willingness to die, often in gruesome ways, for what they claimed to have personally seen and experienced, provides powerful evidence of their sincerity and conviction. This isn't merely dying for a philosophical belief or a set of principles, but rather, they died for a claimed first-hand experience, a tangible encounter with the resurrected Christ. The message of the resurrection was proclaimed publicly and boldly, even in hostile territory, where it was met with skepticism and opposition. It was a claim that was open to scrutiny and investigation by both Jewish and Roman authorities. This public, testable claim, made in the face of potential repercussions, stands as a unique and compelling element among the foundations of religious movements. The resurrection story is rooted in real places and people. Jerusalem, Pontius Pilate, Caiaphas, confirmed by non-Christian sources. The empty tomb was a public claim. Authorities could have disproved it by producing a body, but never did. Early Christian texts are well attested, with manuscripts dating close to the events, unlike most ancient works. The explosive growth of the early church, especially among Jews, demands explanation. Why follow a crucified Messiah unless something extraordinary happened? The evidence is historical, textual, and archaeological, all converging on a public event. Mormonism's origins are different. Joseph Smith's first vision was a private experience, no witnesses, no immediate records, and several later versions. The golden plates, said to be the source of the Book of Mormon, were also revealed privately to Smith, with translation done out of public view. Smith claimed divine command prevented public access to the plates, making independent verification impossible. The foundational events, visions, angelic visits, translation rest entirely on Smith's personal testimony. Unlike the resurrection, these claims are private, uncorroborated, and inaccessible to outside scrutiny. The golden plates hold a position of paramount importance within the tenets of Mormonism. They are considered the source from which the Book of Mormon was translated, a foundational text for the faith. However, the narrative surrounding these plates is marked by a distinct characteristic. Only a small group of Joseph Smith's associates ever claimed to have seen them. This immediately raises questions about the accessibility and verifiability of the plates. These accounts vary, with some claiming to have witnessed the plates in visions, ethereal and dreamlike, while others asserted they physically handled them, feeling their weight and texture. It's crucial to note that all of these witnesses were individuals closely connected to Joseph Smith, members of his inner circle and early followers. This close relationship naturally invites scrutiny regarding potential bias. Furthermore, the subsequent lives of these witnesses present a complex picture. Many of them later distanced themselves from Smith, some even leaving the church or facing excommunication. Despite these departures, most did not explicitly recant their original testimony regarding the golden plates, adding another layer of complexity to their accounts. A significant challenge to the narrative lies in the absence of external corroboration. To date, no independent archaeological evidence has emerged to support the physical existence of the golden plates. Similarly, There's a lack of external validation for the advanced civilizations described within the Book of Mormon, civilizations that purportedly inhabited ancient America. The reformed Egyptian language, from which Smith claimed to translate the plates, also lacks any independent linguistic verification. This stands in stark contrast to other historical claims, such as the resurrection of Jesus, where numerous independent sources and historical records offer corroborating evidence. In the case of the golden plates, there's a distinct absence of such independent support. No archaeological discoveries have unearthed artifacts that align with the Book of Mormon's narrative, and no outside historical records confirm its claims. Consequently, the evidence surrounding the golden plates remains largely confined within a closed circle, heavily reliant on faith in Joseph Smith and the testimonies of his inner circle. This fundamental lack of public and external verification distinguishes the claims surrounding the golden plates from the historical claims made by Christianity and other established religions, where independent sources provide a degree of corroboration. When we examine the foundations of different faiths, a key difference immediately becomes clear. It's not just about belief, but about the very nature of the evidence presented. Christianity's foundation is a public event, unfolding in the full light of day. It was witnessed by many ordinary people going about their lives, proclaimed openly in marketplaces and synagogues, and subject to hostile scrutiny from those who sought to disprove it. The claims were bold, and the stakes were high. The resurrection was announced in Jerusalem, the heart of Jewish life, with claims of hundreds of eyewitnesses willing to testify to what they had seen and experienced. This account is supported by early, abundant manuscripts circulated widely, and corroborated by external sources, even those hostile to the faith. Mormonism's foundation, in contrast, is private, shrouded in secrecy. Visions and artifacts were seen only by a select few handpicked individuals, with no external corroboration to verify the events described. The golden plates, central to the narrative, are unavailable for study, preventing independent verification. And the civilizations described in the Book of Mormon leave no archaeological trace despite their supposed size and complexity. Christianity's claims invite investigation. They stand up to scrutiny and encourage critical analysis. Mormonisms require trust in one man's word, accepting his account without the possibility of independent verification. This isn't about sincerity. It's not a question of whether individuals are genuine in their beliefs. It's about the kind of evidence each faith offers, the nature of its historical claims, and how they can be examined. Public, testable events can be examined and challenged by anyone, using historical and archaeological methods. Private revelations, by their very nature, cannot be subjected to the same level of scrutiny. The distinction shapes how each faith can be evaluated historically, and ultimately how individuals can assess their truth claims. Sincerity is not enough to establish truth. Many have been sincerely wrong. Christianity's claim is rooted in a public historical event open to investigation and supported by multiple lines of evidence. The resurrection is not just a matter of faith, but a claim about reality, inviting scrutiny. Mormonism's foundation is private, requiring faith in a single prophet's testimony and personal spiritual confirmation. One path is public, verifiable, and open to all. The other is private and subjective. From a Catholic perspective, God's revelation in Christ was public and undeniable, a foundation for faith grounded in history. Consider the evidence, weigh the claims, and decide for yourself.